everyone, welcome to the next video in this series of gemstones from Johanna Basford's Magical World. We are going to be doing this one here today, and I have found this tutorial in Colorist Special Effects 3 by Helen Elliston for a 3D glassy triangle. Now this is scary for me, it's got yellows and things which, you know, I'm frightened of, but I thought this sort of 3D look we could incorporate into this gemstone shape. I'm going to have a go, we'll see what happens. So I will come in a bit closer, choose my colours, and then we'll be away. Oh, it's come in. There we go. So we start with a Deco Yellow, which I tend to use a cream for Deco Yellow, because these are Prismacolor colours in the tutorial. So just trying to, got too much on my desk. Then a yellow ochre, probably the dark Naples dark Naples ochre, can't speak, will work. Then a burnt ochre. We could use our burnt ochre. I'm trying to think what the Prismacolor one looks like. I think I will just use the Polychromos one. Then a sepia. Now I know in Prismacolor the sepia is a very dark brown, so rather than using the dark sepia, I'm going to use the burnt umber and a black. White pen and a yellow neon gel pen. Well, I haven't got the gel pen, go without that. So let's make a start. So our first instruction is to cover the whole thing with the Deco Yellow. So I'm going to use my cream and I'm just going to cover the whole thing. I'm not going to go too hard. Like I have with others in the series, I'm a little bit cautious about going too dark too early. I can always come back and add more. If I burnish this down hard enough so that it shows up really brightly, which isn't the point of the exercise anyway, I won't be able to add other colours on top. So I'm just gently putting down what I think is an even layer, but I can't even see it that well because of it being so light. But it's there. That's fine for me. Now what you're supposed to do is burnish it with white to smooth it out. We're not going to do that step because Polychromos don't quite work like that. But now we're going to move on to the yellow ochre step, which is the dark Naples ochre that I had such trouble saying for some reason. And we have to add a fair bit. Now I'm going to sharpen it a little bit. Now we're using a diagonal, it's a triangle though. Oh, I think we'll just try it anyway. Diagonal lines like this, so some thick, some thin, can you see? And like this. Now I'm making this up a little bit because it's a completely different shape, but there's a bit of straight down there, and then it actually goes in the other direction there in the picture. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah. Then we move to the burnt ochre and do a similar, oh, only a little bit. Now, let me go carefully. So I've got a little bit here. I'm supposed to sort of blend it in, so I'm being a little bit cautious with it. I can blend it in later, but what I'm trying to do is make some areas darker and some lighter, so it looks like I've got a bit of a blend. There we go. The sepia apparently starts to make it look a bit more 3D. So a few bits there and there, apparently. Okay. Now the black is used to make it look like there's shadow. And it's added to sort of corners as well, like that. Okay. we go. Now I'm going to go back through my colours. So I'm going to go now back to the burnt umber, going over the top of where I've done it already to try and just start to sort of blend and burnish it a bit more. And to darken it, I'm going to be a bit more confident with my stroke work. And here is my burnt ochre. And you can see it's beginning to take shape. This is the dark Naples ochre. I'll remember the name one day. Put it in there. Now this is the point where we can burnish in our cream colour. Okay, so we can go harder and but think about the direction of the stroke, that it's mainly diagonal and except for down there. I don't know why it's been done that way, but it does seem to work in the picture in the book. So I'm just being careful going around all those little florals. The example picture is so much more orange than mine. I'm quite happy with my yellow. Now what they do in the book is make a black background with a pen. I'm not going to do that. And then they use some white Posca. I'm going to use my Sakura, but you can use Posca to go along the guidelines of the whole shape. So the idea is we go over these to make them look like they're catching the light rather than shadows. Because we want to give the illusion that these are higher up and that what we can see is on the bottom of our gemstone, and we're sort of looking into it. This is going to need a few layers, I think, and we go around the edge as well. I'm not sure if I want to go around the edge because we're on white paper. I want us to be able to see, because that cream is quite pale, and be able to see where the edge is. So this needs to be significantly darker and thicker than it is, but I've got to leave it to dry, and then I can put some more on once we'll do some of the floral work. So I want these flowers to be yellow as well, but they need to stand out a little bit. So I'm going to use a darker yellow. I'm just going to sharpen it. I'm going to use this one, the cadmium yellow, for the flowers, for the petals. Okay. Now, as you're doing this, try not to smudge your white pen. Now, I'm just blocking in the whole petal because I find yellow such a tricky customer, shall we say. It's quite hard to shade it. I mean, managed down there, but we didn't really just use yellow, did we? We had a lot of black and ochres and all sorts of things going on. I've just looked at the clock because I'm so hungry. It's 11:30. Nearly lunchtime. Hurrah! You can choose to block out the outside if you think it will look better. I think it might, because it might look odd that these are white and that isn't. But I haven't finished blocking out the white yet, so I'm not sure. What I'm going to do is when I finish these petals, I'm going to do another layer of white, because I think it's going to need 3 or 4 to really show up. This is the thing with white pen. When you're doing it over something pale, if you just use one quick line, not going to show up very well. And even if you use several, it might just disappear. Okay, so I'm going to go back and put this in. Now if you try and put it on top of wet pen, you tend to rub it off like I did there, rather than adding to it. And sometimes you can chip off what's there as well, so you have to be a bit patient and think about your technique as well. Sometimes doing a bit of gentle dotting is more effective than trying to do a line. That makes sense. I'm just trying to cover over those areas that are really quite exposed. No, that's not the right word. Uncovered. There we go. That's better. Now, our flower centres I would like to be a bit darker. I could use a slightly orangey colour, and I think that'll work because of our burnt ochre. So I'm going to grab this one. This is the dark chrome yellow, but in my brain that's orange. And again, I'm just blocking it in because we'll use our white pen to do a little bit of something with them. My other thought with regards to doing white pen around the whole gem is that then the flowers look very black on the edges, and you feel like you have to do those as well, and then you end up having to white out the whole page, which in a small picture like this is not too tricky, but I feel that when it comes to a larger one, having to white out everything, just not something that I ever want to really do. So now we have a grass green, and I'm going to use this for all the petals. They're quite small, and rather than doing a different colour tip, I'm just going to do the whole thing in this colour. And just try and fade it to the edge a little bit, but it's quite a small space to do that in, but you can layer it up more here. Just put more layers on before you then go towards the tip. I feel like we need to do, I'm looking at the colours I've done, trying to do stones in different colours for you. Thinking I could do with a deep purple. We did a bit of purple in one, but not, the stone itself had such a mix of colour. It isn't really. We'll see. See what I can find. I think my favourite so far is still day 2. Struggling to beat that at the minute. There we go. Now at this point you can go back over your white if you think you need to. I'm actually quite happy with my white. We are supposed to put some yellow neon in, but also we are allowed to put some white on the actual gemstone, and I'm thinking I'd quite like to put a bit here and here and maybe there, just to try and emphasize the sort of shape of it a little bit. Helps if the pen is working. Come on, Mr. Pen. White pens do have this habit of playing up a bit. Now for our flowers, I'm just going to dot around that centre piece a little bit. I want to tone it down a little bit. It's quite dark, isn't it? There we go. Sorry, concentration. Now you could do a little bit of shadowing on the yellow where the flowers are overlapping each other and where they're overlapping the gemstone. I'm just giving that a bit of thought as to whether I can. I think I can. I used my burnt umber that I happen to have here. I'm going to sharpen it. I should have done this before I did the pen work, but you know. Do a little bit there. You don't even have to do this. Where it's overlapping the gemstone. shadow around it. And the same here. There we go. There it is. You could make that into a gold bullion. It's quite looks like a gold bar to me. Not the way I've coloured it. It's not dark enough, but it's just the shape of it. I have decided that I want to take out this edge. I'm going to do it. I just think it looks a little bit strange with the centre bit taken out and not the edge. So I'm going to try it, and then you can decide whether you think it makes the flowers look odd, etc., or whether you think it improves it. You've seen it before, and now you get an after. I think that's better, but you know, it's all very personal, isn't it, as to whether things look better or not. Right, that is done. So thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and happy colouring.